Welcome to Press Pause. When I was a child, my parents would plan these great vacations for the family. We visited Upper New York State, Vermont. We actually went to New York City. We would go down to the ocean in New Jersey. And for 3 summers, we actually visited my uncle in California. We drove down for 2 of those visits and we would take in the sights. My father never made any reservations in advance, and we never had trouble finding a spot except for one night. We were returning from California, and while in the state of Wyoming, we ran into trouble. You see, a big rodeo was taking place in the city of Cheyenne. And it took us over 5 hours to actually find a room. We had to stop at different places and drive to the next town because there weren't any vacancies. It was finally midnight when we checked into a room, but the hotel was a little sketch and we were afraid to fall asleep. So my dad actually slept on a cot right by the door, and my sisters and I felt safe that he was there protecting us. The night that Jesus was born, Joseph and Mary experienced a similar situation. Augustus Caesar had issued a decree that a census should be taken in the entire Roman world, and Joseph had to return to his hometown of Bethlehem. Luke 2:5-7 says, "He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She placed him in a manger because there was no room for them in the inn. And while they were in Bethlehem, the time came for the birth of this child." Now, this posed a problem. With so many people invading Bethlehem because of the census, Joseph could not find a proper place for them to stay. It seemed like his distant relatives had no room for them for one reason or another. And it's hard to believe that innkeepers and relatives would turn away a very pregnant woman. Perhaps if you had been there, you would have made room for Mary, Joseph, and Jesus, but you weren't. My point? What will you do now? Will you make room for Jesus today? Jesus says in Matthew 25:40, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." So I encourage you this Christmas season to take a look around and see what you can do to extend hospitality to someone who needs rescuing, someone who might need a home-cooked meal, someone who might need some cookies delivered to their door. It doesn't have to be anything big for it to be meaningful, because hospitality can take on many forms. Whatever opportunity God gives to you, don't send it out to the stable. Make room for it. And you may be surprised at the blessing that you will receive for doing so. There is always room for lots of hospitality. Wishing you a great Christmas. See you soon.